going on, Chiefs Kingdom? This is Chiefs Chat, Red Friday Roundtable Special Edition. The special guest tonight, I wanted to share something with you all that I thought was very kind of awesome when I stumbled across it. It's a special guest on tonight. But without further ado, I won't get too deep in the weeds yet. We'll talk about it after, but this man's a very famous man, very well known, an American hero. I've been a fan for a long time. His podcast has kept me company a lot in my journey on side jobs and things like that, or when I'm by myself preparing for an acting role. You know, that's what this beard's all a part of. And I didn't know he was a football fan. He's a Bears fan. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what Charlie Kirk has to say about his Chicago Bears, and what he and Blake, one of his producers, one of his buddies over there at Charlie Kirk Show, what they talk about. So I'll leave it to Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie.
See, Blake is such a Packers fan. He said, "What should we talk about?" Oh, talk about the Bears. I'm not talking about the Bears, okay? You see, I even put in my group chat. I said, the Bears are winning by 14 points. This is a very strange thing. I don't know how to handle it. Oh, but don't worry. I got back down to what I was used to awfully quickly, which is a tragic, embarrassing loss on national television. The Bears are who we thought they were. The whole thing is messed up.
Bears.
I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, we'll be back on campus tomorrow at AmericanComebackTour.com. That is AmericanComebackTour.com. The Bears put on a masterclass, one of the worst coach games in the history of football. It was so bad. They challenge in the second. You never do this in the second half. You should be smacked across the face. He challenged what was not even a close call of Noah Sewell, with a fumble. What happens when you lose a challenge? You lose a timeout. So when you lose a timeout, you need to stop the clock. And they only have 2 timeouts left, and they can't do that. And then some rocket scientist on the Bears, I'm screaming at my TV. I woke up everyone. They decide, well, we have to kick the ball, and it was like 2 minutes and 2 seconds left, okay? And they're down by 3 points. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left. So with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left, you have to make sure that the ball either goes out of bounds,
Yes.
or that you kick it off so that they can't do a turn. You only have 1 timeout left. Why does
Right.
that matter? Well, because then the 2-minute warning stops the clock, and that is a built-in timeout for when the Vikings run the ball inevitably. What do they do?
Exactly.
They allow the Vikings to return the ball. They're basically ending the game. Just the Bears find ways to disappoint us post-1985. That's fine. We still won a Super Bowl. And let's count how many Super Bowls the Vikings have won. That's what I thought. Okay, email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. So much going on here that we have to cover. Oh, yeah, my team's telling me that's right. It's no longer going to be the Chicago Bears. It will be the Arlington Heights Bears. I'm of the opinion the move to the Arlington Heights Stadium is going to be great. People don't like it. My family's like, no, it's not going to be good. I think it's going to be great. I think that we can finally have a new identity, get out of Chicago. And that's actually a really good connection to some political issue of Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson is so bad that he has successfully driven the Bears out of Chicago.
That's a big deal. The Bears leaving Chicago. I wanted to share that because I didn't know that he was a big football fan. I didn't know that he had such a passion for his team, like all of us. Because he was a human being. He was a family man with things he enjoyed doing. Apparently, nature and the outdoors was a big thing for him. Apparently, a big lover of his Chicago Bears, and his buddies all wanted to say goodbye to him, and they did that very, very sweetly on their show, and they'll show that right now really quickly right at the end of their episode. After speaking for about 3 hours, I think, between speaking and showing clips of his show.
Thank you, Charlie Kirk. You are our hero, and you always will be.
We love you, Charlie.
We love you.
We love
wanted to share that with y'all because that's Scotland the Brave, that song. That was a very meaningful song in my younger years. I was a Royal Canadian Dragoon a lifetime ago, and it was a big song. We would play at our parades a lot. We'd march to that. I marched that many times in the Scarlet Guard, sometimes for royalty, sometimes for funerals. And that was the song that opened his show every day when he was ready to go live. We're not going to get to have that again. We're not going to get to enjoy that again or see that again because somebody decided to end his life. I don't want to go down a negative trail, sad trail, frustrated trail. I was on set when this all took place, and I had turned his show on when I was getting to set. It took me about 45 minutes to drive there, and the last 10 minutes or so I threw the show on because I was listening to the music and football stuff, and I was like, oh, I want to hear what he had to say about this girl, Irina, the girl who died, the Ukrainian girl who was murdered. And didn't realize he'd done it already on a previous show. The clip I showed you was from the 9th, was the day before. I didn't show you the preview part where he announced the show that he was going to be the Take Back America tour. He does that. The link for the book he mentioned is still alive. I'll share that with you guys before I go. I already ordered my book and donated to get another book as well. That site's still there for anybody who cares about Christians. I'll share the clip with him pronouncing. I didn't show you that yet, but I'll show you the clip where he talks about it really quickly. There's a lot of people out there that are kind of feeling lost right now because he was a compass for them. Try to stop saying and a lot. It's just putting the thoughts together right now. There's another one. Simply just let, if you're lost, if you're feeling lost, if you're not sure what to do and why Charlie and not you? Why are we still here? Why is he gone? Because God's not finished with us yet. He did more, that young man did more between 18 and 31 than a lot of people do in their entire lives. A lot of people. I would hazard to say most people. He was the same age as my son, Charlie Kirk was. And a lot of people are feeling affected by this. I still don't believe it. I hear it, I see clips, I see a post, I see a headline, and I'm just like, but that's not right. I dreamt that, right? That's not real. It still hasn't sunk in yet. But if you're feeling lost, if you're not sure, you're not alone, okay? You're surrounded by millions of souls that feel the same way as you. Let Christ be your compass. Do what you're here to do. Figure out what that is and do that and be that. The enemy thinks that silence is compliance. If they can just get you silent, they can win. They didn't silence anything. They think they put out his light. They put out his fire. They threw kerosene on a campfire. There's going to be hundreds or millions of people that step up and take his place, take his microphone, and move forward and carry it. None of us are ever going to be the same as Charlie. That's a big hill to climb to try to match what that man did. But all together, the sum of our parts will fill the gap, and we're gonna make it grow to bursting. The clip that I saw, I'm gonna share some stuff with you, some video things, and we'll just talk about them real quick. The clip I saw that made me think of I love the smile. He's so happy talking about his Bears moving to Arlington Heights. The clip I saw that makes me think of him. I was like, what would encapsulate it so much? This what just happened, and I'm never gonna look at. This is what popped in my head of all things, all crazy things. I'm never gonna look at the Grinch Who Stole Christmas the same way again, because so loud. So Charlie trying to do everything he could while he was here, for God's grace, for God's love, for God's approval. Seek not the approval of man. That's the fool's errand. You should be doing things for God, doing things in Christ's image. And it's like when the Grinch was trying to stop the sleigh when he knew what was right to do and doing everything he could. Now he grabs it and gets a hold of it, and somehow I was always like, how did he bring it back from there? That's crazy. And this right here,
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say.
this is the turning point. Okay? They tried to extinguish his light.
That the Grinch's small
That little heart is the light of
grew
his
3 sizes
heart
that
and
day.
his fire. This is what it's doing right now. It's growing
And then
everywhere.
the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches, plus 2.
So find your strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. When you feel like you don't have enough breath to speak, you don't have enough courage to stand. It's there. It's there. Find it. This is going to be a bunch of analogies. This is what was coming to me was Charlie was a pastor, okay? And every campus was his church. And he spoke the word of God. People say, oh, he spoke about family. That's in the Bible. The Bible talks about family. He spoke about, conservatism and doing things the right way, doing things which way? The way the Bible teaches us. Behaving in the way that the Bible teaches us. All the things, the moralistic code that he had, everything is from the Bible. And he preached the Bible as well. And he shared the Bible verses with everybody. Any comers, all comers to that microphone, he was willing to talk to and engage every one of them. Honestly, deliberately, truthfully, give them a chance to speak, give them a chance to be heard and share his thoughts and give them a chance to try to prove him wrong. And they couldn't, because he wasn't making things up for approval. They tried to silence him in the middle of one of his sermons, and all they did was make his voice even louder. Because we're all going to be stepping up. Everybody's stepping up all over the place. I see people that are converting to Christianity, people that were atheists. I see people that were total leftists that were like me pre-2016. And now they're like, I'm not going down that road anymore. I got to that point in 2016, I couldn't go down that road anymore. I was already seeing trappings and signs of this is going a bad direction. And it's only gotten worse in the last 9 years. This is a horrible thing that happened. But there's also the thing you got to remember is God's will be done. He can take bad people and change them. He can take bad situations and make them good, make them serve the cause of good, the cause of justice, the cause of spiritual rightness. This tool shall be made to be supporting the kingdom of God, not hurting us. There's pain now. There's struggle now. It's going to take time. But this pain will pass, and we will all be emboldened by it and refortified by this. Some people they think that like the love on earth or the energy on earth has been reduced. The love for God, the support for God. But just like anybody who's a father, anybody who's a parent knows, when a child's born in your family, sometimes you're like, I'm split so many different directions. Not going to share energy and love with another human. Your love grows. When a new child comes into your life, your love grows. It doesn't get diminished. It doesn't get split another way. It just expands. And so is it too with Charlie being taken from us. He's reborn into the kingdom of heaven. And there his light and his energy is divided and spread amongst all of us. Because he's got all of his energy up there. He doesn't need any of this earthly energy. He leaves it all to us. And he shares it with all of us. And he had a wellspring of it. If you listen to his wife talking about him, listen to his friends talking about him. And it's our job to carry the torch now. And we'll make that happen. He talks about spiritual warfare. I want to share the clip with you so you can look into getting that free book that he mentioned. It's at the beginning of this clip right here. So I'll go back to the beginning and play that for you.
Folks, we're in a spiritual battle. Right now, all across the globe, our Christian brothers and sisters are being targeted because they stand firm in their faith in Jesus Christ. God's word calls us to remember them. We've got to stand with those heroes of the faith. In the powerful book, When Faith is Forbidden, Todd Nettleton and the Voice of the Martyrs bring you 40 gripping true stories of believers who said yes to Christ, even when it cost them everything, freedom, family, and even their lives. As a special gift to my listeners, you can get a free copy. Just head on over to vom.org/Charlie or click on the link below. Okay.
And it works. I checked the link. I went to the link. This is what it looks like. If you go to that link, just look up Charlie's show from September 9th. And it's in the beginning of the show. This is what it looks like when you get there. And you get a free subscription to their online magazine. You get this book free. And then if you click through all this stuff, which I did already, I'm not going to do that now again. Put my information there. It goes to another book called Imprisoned. It's about a man who was held captive for 445 days by ISIS. Or by another Islamist group. And there was ISIS prisoners in there as well. I don't know how that worked exactly, but he basically was commingled with a bunch of people who did not have Christ's faith, and he converted people while he was in there. And I can't wait to read that story. That's got to be pretty hairy situation. But yeah, go ahead and check that link out. I want to share a few things with you besides the Grinch, obviously. George Carlin had a good take on it, and I remember this from back when I lived in LA. I used to watch Carlin clips sometimes in my kitchen when I was making juice cleansing. This is what George Carlin's thoughts were on assassination.
They kill for pleasure. That's us. Human beings. Interesting folks. Murderers. Here's an interesting form of murder we come up with. Assassination. You know what's interesting about assassination? Well, not only does it change those popularity polls in a big fucking hurry, but it's also interesting to notice who it is we assassinate. Do you ever notice who it is? Stop to think of who it is we kill. It's always people who've told us to live together in harmony and try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon. They all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam!
He's not wrong. They tried to get Trump as well. Hey, Gary Holland. Hey, man. We're on a little bit of a detour right now, but I'll bring some Chiefs stuff up later as well. I did have Charlie Kirk on talking about Bears football to begin it. But it's good to see you in the chat, sir. Anybody that's there just voyeuristically watching and checking the show up, feel free to stay. You don't have to chat. You can if you like. I'll respond to you. We're just talking about this George Carlin clip where he talks about how they take away people that try to unite us. That's the devil. That's evil. Evil's around us all the time, every day. When you feel fear, if you feel concern, if you're in a dark alley or a dark part of the forest or something and you're concerned about something and you feel that bad energy, you tell him, get thee behind me, Satan. Lord is my rod and my staff. The Lord's with you all the time. You just got to believe in him and trust him. If you haven't taken Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I suggest you do it. I recommend you do it. It'll change your life. But we're talking about Charlie Kirk tonight a little bit. This was a good friend of his. This is Officer Brandon Tatum. A lot of people are impugning that Charlie was racist. They couldn't be further from the truth. He was not a racist man at all. Didn't even hate transgender like they say. Didn't hate gay people. There's so many misspoken people out there. So many liars. They're speaking with forked tongue out there. So don't listen to if you haven't watched the show or listened to the show, you don't know from what you speak. The guy was a Christian through and through, and he would hear out anybody, and he would have areas where they would disagree. He would tell people if they were trans that they wanted to be close to God, he would tell them, I don't agree with your choice, your way of life, but the church and Christianity loves you, and you're God wants to have a close relationship with you, and he would always welcome them. He never pushed them away. But here's Brandon Tatum. I want to hear what he had to say real quick.
I'm very angry because you don't get your lick back.
Okay, no, he goes on to. I'm not going to watch him cry here. This is hard to watch. But he's right. A lot of us felt that way too. You don't get to hit back. Just a coward from a distance took him away. And one thing that I haven't heard people talking about, except for one guy, I don't know if I have a clip of it here or not, but Glenn Beck mentioned it. I don't know if I have. I'm right here, yeah, actually. This is something I impugned the other day after I wrapped on set. Oh, I was mentioning I was listening to the show. And the last thing I said, while I knew he was still alive, or thought he was still alive, he had obviously been killed by then because it was the afternoon here in the East Coast. He was in Utah. It might have just been happening. But I was listening to the show, listening for that clip about Irina, the girl, and it was like a rebroadcast. It was like some stuff from the day before. I didn't know he was on tour. I hadn't listened to the show in a few weeks. And I remember listening to the last 10 minutes. It was like his show, if you listen to it, he'll go to commercial and he'll promote like something that's sponsoring the show or whatever. But a lot of times he'll just put in clips from other conversations he's had that were really good. So you can listen to other, people speak and you hear other points of view, which is awesome and fantastic. But I wanted to hear the new stuff. And then in 10 minutes, I didn't hear anything new. And I got to the place, I said, that's it. Come on, Charlie, man. Do better. You're better than that usually. Why is it all old stuff? Want to hear stuff with this girl? Man, and I got out of the car, and the next thing I hear an hour later, when I'm getting my hair done on set for this commercial, is that he's been shot. And I thought I misheard. I said, who? Charlie Kirk, not Charlie Kirk. They said, yeah. I'm like, why would anybody shoot him? And then I'm like sitting there I said, okay, I can't talk about it right now. I got to be positive for the spot. I got to be smiley and energetic for this product. And then a few minutes later, one of the makeup ladies just went, he's gone. He died. I was like, so life comes at you. And I didn't see the clip until later, the horrible, awful clip. And in it, I'm not going to show anything graphic. I had the same feeling as Glenn Beck. I'm going to go ahead and play what Glenn Beck said.
A .30 caliber hunting rifle was found. It was found the Gender and Federal Law Enforcement Bulletin.
Just a couple of weeks.
Okay,
Same
first of all,
thing.
I'll play the first part of this because
A .30 caliber hunting rifle.
a lot of people are saying that this was all a Christian, conservative white male with no trans ideologies, and that's not the truth. Again, another lie that people are spreading. His family is very Christian. I feel for his family. My heart goes out to them, the shooter's family, because he was a disturbed young man. I'll let this guy tell you what the details were that the police found.
Was found. It was found with a expended cartridge inside. A .30 caliber hunting rifle was found. It was found with a expended cartridge inside the rifle. It was wrapped in a towel. There were also 3 unspent rounds that were in the magazine of the rifle. On those unspent rounds, there were expressions of transgender and anti-fascist ideology on those rounds. And this comes from a federal law enforcement bulletin.
We just saw that exact same thing just a couple of weeks ago. What an unbelievable coincidence it is that the question Charlie was being asked just before he was shot was this question.
Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Not good show the graphic.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Bang. I hope we are questioned.
The only thing Glenn gets wrong is it wasn't Charlie finishing answering the question and then bang. Charlie answers this question with a question. Are we counting gang violence? And then the questioner, the person who asked the question, says, great. And then the gunshot rings out. As soon as he says great, bang. That crack sound of a rifle from a distance. Unfortunately, very familiar to me from my military days. And my concern, and I expressed this on the 10th when I was wrapped in my car talking to you guys. It's on Rumble as well. I hope they share the video footage of the person that was asking the question, and I hope that they've got that person in custody and are questioning them, because my concern is, was this a team? Because this wasn't the first questioner. There was somebody before that talking to him about prayer and no gunshot when the prayer was going on. And they bring up transgender and mass shootings, and as soon as Charlie answers the second question, the guy goes, "Great," and the shot rings out. Now, could the shooter have had a microphone set up close by to where Charlie was? Maybe. Unlikely, though. It's a good range. I mean, to set that up before, with all the people around setting everything up, it'd be very difficult. Now, the person at the microphone stand could have had an earbud in and had a communication device with the shooter 200 yards away. And the shooter's just waiting for the word "great." That's their go word. His little Manchurian candidate pulled the trigger word. And if he's just sitting there doing his breathing, waiting for that go word, and as soon as he hears "great," all he does is squeeze the trigger, and it's over. And there's a lot of discussion. Brandon Tatum, who I showed you a little bit earlier, people were concerned about, that distance, that guy's not making that. I mean, people are saying, well, the right through and through at the neck spot, he very well could have been aiming at center of visible mass and jerked it, and the thing just came up a little bit and hit him in the neck. But they also said he had a scope, so he could have been on his neck. It's only 200 yards. 200 yards with a 30-06. I could hit 700 yards with my Mosin & Gant, which is an old World War II rifle like this caliber. Iron sights, no scope. Those things are deadly accurate. They're war rifles. They're not weapons of war. They're rifles from World War II. I'm not sure if this Mauser was a newer version or an older version, but the 30-06, I mean, 200 yards is nothing. It's not depressing. It's not depleting. Its energy is maxed out at 200 yards. So any decent shot could make that, and apparently this kid wasn't unfamiliar with weapons, rifles. But he was pro-trans in some way or shape or form. Two of his bullets had something pro-trans written on there, and they were talking about anti-fascism, which the media spouts all the time. And Glenn Beck was the first one. I want to give him credit for actually asking about that.
Bang. I hope we are questioning that person. I hope that is a coincidence, because if it's not a coincidence, it means we are dealing with something entirely different.
And what does he mean by that? I don't know. Does he mean, is there a bunch of shooters out there that are just a little colony of people being set out on tasks? Because there's people on, I haven't looked at it yet, but Blue Sky, I guess, is like another social media thing where people that are extreme leftists go and talk about stuff, and there's people talking about wanting to put hits out on all kinds of people. And I'm not going to list the names here because I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but you can figure it out. And you can't spend multiple years calling people fascists and calling people Hitler and saying people are Nazis and saying you got to do something about that. We literally had people say somebody's got to put a bullet in Trump. You can't. How is this a thing that's okay? You're threatening the candidate for president and former president of the United States at the time. You're inciting violence. Like, that's an arrestable offense. We didn't do anything about it. I don't understand where the law is going with that, but we'll figure it out hopefully. I want to play you a couple clips here. Here's Charlie with this young black mother.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. For daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so you agree, we're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family?
Yes.
That is the number one priority.
Now, is that, do you find that racist, or do you find that true and unfortunate? Here's another clip. People talk about, if his movement was only for white people and he was some kind of white supremacist or something like that, then why do you have people doing the haka for him? New Zealand Maori Christians pay tribute to Charlie Kirk. Those people are upset that a hero was taken away, a hero for their movement, for their cause, for their religion. Which brings me to another point. There have been a number of people, Jasmine Crockett, D.L. Hughley is another one, being interviewed by Don Lemon, so if he's endorsing it, he agrees with it. But a handful of people, progressive leftists, pundits, even trying to like demean the situation. Oh, he was murdered. He wasn't. First of all, that's bad enough. Okay. He was also martyred. Okay, I'm a Catholic. He was martyred. You killed a man who preaches Christ's word while he was being there for people and spreading word and spreading truth. So he was martyred. That's a special honor, a special place beside God. But he wasn't just murdered. He was assassinated. No less than Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, or all those people that George Carlin listed. And they're trying to say, oh, well, no, he wasn't officially he wasn't a political official, so it doesn't really count. Trying to like somehow that makes it less than. First of all, it doesn't. Secondly, they're just wrong. If you just do a basic Google AI search and ask what's the definition of assassination, let me read it for you. Assassination is the premeditated and targeted killing of a prominent person, check, such as a political leader, celebrity, check, or public figure, check, typically carried out for ideological, check, political, maybe, religious, check, or military reasons. You can assassinate a village chief, you can assassinate a priest. It's the same thing. You took somebody away because of you don't agree with what he's saying, which is pathetic. You're basically crapping on the First Amendment of the Constitution. It doesn't work like that, though. See, the problem is you just basically, you Pearl Harbored Christianity and conservatism in America. What happened after Pearl Harbor? What was the reaction? Did Americans go silent and just wait out the war and go, oh, I better not do anything because we got hit pretty hard there. Better not. No, that's not how we operate. That's not how we operated after 9/11. So there's people pushing for some stuff that I don't think they want. They don't want the smoke. And I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope cooler heads can prevail. It's another example. This girl here with a lot of tattoos. She says, "I'm leaving the Democratic Party. I'm done with the left." Listen to a couple.
I've been
couple
dreading
minutes.
making this video because I know I'm going to get hate comments, especially from the left. And
She's not wrong.
nobody likes hate comments online. I used to proudly call myself a liberal. I still believe in equality, healthcare access, LGBTQ plus rights, definitely science and social programs. But I've
To be fair, same thing for everything she's saying, and even to the LGBTQ rights. Those are human rights. Okay, just forget the title, the caption, the letters. I don't agree with it. It's not a part of my life. I don't promote it. But those are my fellow humans, my brothers and sisters over there, and that's their choice and their life to live. And I'm not to sit in judgment of them. I don't decide how they're going to live their life. I will tell them I think that they're, jeopardizing their mortal soul, that they could be, flaunting sin in the face of God when He's telling us that's not the way to be. There's several spots in the Bible that tell you that, but that's their decision. We get free choice here. We're not forced into heaven. People think we're locked they're locking the door. No, you're welcome. You're being asked to come, but you got to come of your own free will. Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and Charlie will talk a little bit more about that and explain to people out there that seem to think that, X amount of days in church.
Those of you that are not yet believers, it's very simple. Found in human form.
X amount of dollars donated is going to make the difference. Also not how it works. So let's listen to a little bit of Charlie here.
For those of you that are not yet believers, it's very simple. You're going to have a court date. We all die. And you're all going to meet the supreme judge of the universe. Justice is getting what you deserve, which is going to a not so good place. We're all sinners and we all fall short of the glory of God. But thanks to the cross, a perfect loving God who came down in human form, human flesh, lived a perfect life and died for us so that we can live forever. At that moment, we're about to get that sentencing into eternal damnation. Somebody says, no, I know him. I know her. Welcome to eternal life.
Somebody says, you know who that somebody is? That's Jesus Christ, your Savior. Gary Holland says, Charlie Kirk is an absolutely amazing man. Stephen A. Smith said some good stuff about Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I listened to about 30 seconds of his thing. I think it's great that it's bringing people together from a lot of different sides. Let's continue with Charlie's thing here.
You have an opportunity. The gospel in 4 words is Jesus took my place. 3 words is him for me. 2 words is substitutionary atonement, and 1 word is grace. Grace you cannot earn. Grace you do not pay for. It doesn't matter how much money you give to the hospital. You can't earn it. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you have always done the best you can, because what's different about Christianity is that it's a gift for all of humanity to receive regardless of everything that we have done.
And what I wanted to say to that was, I thought of this about a month ago. A lot of people talk about, some people say they have, some people say they wonder if, some people ask, is this really a thing? That when you die, does your life flash before your eyes? Do you see all the things you've achieved? I was just wondering, it's like, if you got to that point and God's beckoning you, or it's your time, and you say, I want to see all the things, and he goes, oh, you want to see all the things that don't matter? You want to see your life on earth, your human life? You want to watch old videos of, okay, what if God said, here's the deal. You can watch your life can flash before your eyes. All the good stuff's going to flash before your eyes. And it wasn't a matter of that being your judgment. The context that I thought of it in was, if you think of yourself as a good person and you're excited about the fact you're going to see all of your life flash before your eyes, what if God said this? What if he said, I'm going to show you all of your great things you did in super warp speed. You're going to be able to follow it because you're going to have, spiritual eyes. You'll be able to see it. You'll accept it and absorb it, but it's going to go by fast. But then, when that's done, then you have to sit and wait before you enter heaven, and you got to watch all the times you fell. All the times you faltered, all the times you fell short of God, all the times you did wrong. From the little stuff to the big, from the time you ate all the cookies to the time you did that thing that you don't tell anybody about. I'm going to stack all those, and you're going to watch those in real time. The way they happened, the way they occurred, how long they took place. Would your time be, would that be minutes for you? Ask yourself, would that be hours? Would it be days, weeks, months even? If you were in prison for something awful, would you be sitting there for years in limbo waiting to get in? Because all those great things you did, it doesn't matter. That's just so what? That's expected of us. That's not like extra good. Is that more than Jesus did? Is that more than Charlie Kirk did? And if he was here, I know he would tell you he fell short at times as well. Absolutely. We all do. And that's expected as well. What's hoped for by God, by Jesus Christ, is that we're going to accept Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, as our Lord and Savior, and believe and follow and share his word and spread his word. And I've at times shared little things here and there. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to hold back anymore. Forget that. I'm going to skip the belligerencies too. I'm going to try to keep those out of the lingo because they don't serve any good purpose. There's nothing I can say with a negative or derogatory or belligerent term that I can't express with intelligent words and good vocabulary and expressive terminology. I'm an educated person. I'm a father. I should do better. Sometimes it's a good F-bomb. Nah, just doesn't really, it doesn't replace good vocabulary. It doesn't. Strong vocabulary can be just as descriptive, even more so. Less vague. You can be very specific with strong vocabulary. But I'm not going to hold back anymore on things that I think are wrong. I will. This will be a rarity where I compare when I do football at the beginning and then I'm talking about this stuff. I'll try to split I'll keep those things separate as much as possible. I'll make my football show, so you can just come and watch football. But I'm going to have separate stuff that I do, content that I do. We're going to talk about prayer. We're going to talk about things that matter, family, love of family. If people want to talk about their struggles and their trials in life and share that, and we can talk about that, that's fine too. If I can be a shoulder for somebody in the dark that's alone, that needs somebody to care. I watched a clip of something today. I was watching the series The Offer about the making of The Godfather, and there's one scene where there's the two guys that are working together on something, and I won't get into the weeds of the details because you don't watch the show, it won't make any sense. Leave it to be. There's two men, and men of that time, the 70s, 60s, 70s, not as open about emotion and friendship and stuff like that. But the one guy was dealing with a really hard time. He's losing his wife. And they're both good men, and they both have great goals, and they both have been working together hard on a project. And the guy that's losing his wife has had to be the stronger generally of the two because he was in a position of power. But this is a weak time for him. This is a time of weakness. And he goes to talk to him, his mentor. He goes to talk to the mentor and try to help him through the thing. And he asks him to just leave, whatever. And I'm like watching him, and he gets up and he walks, and I'm like, and I'm sure that's how it happened in real life. But I'm looking at that situation go, if you just walked over and put your hand on his shoulder, it's a stupid show about the making of The Godfather, but it gets me because this is my spark that I got from God, where I can find those emotions and they come. They don't wait to be beckoned. They'll be there when I need them. And I can feel happy and joyful and still think about something emotional and feel that, and the tears will come too. Because some people can't do that, and I try to exhibit that and share that so people can live vicariously through my expression and my art form. Because sometimes, I'll tell you, it feels pretty worthless being an artist. But it's not. I know it's not. This isn't a pity trip. It's just, you just don't have a welder can make shit, and I can look at it. It's right there. It's metal. If I drop it on my leg, it's going to crush my foot. When you're an actor, when you're an artist, it's like if you don't have a chance to work, it's just in here and in here. It's in your spirit, but it's not out in the world. It's only when you do things that people see, oh, that's your work, that's great. You know, you don't have a tangible talent, you have an intangible gift. And Charlie's was expression and communication and passion. And he shared that. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful for him, like those guys said. You know what? I'm not even going to share this next clip I was going to share. It's just two people saying belligerent crap, just to make you aware that there's going to be stuff out there that's going to be negative. People are lost, man. Some people are just lost. I don't think they'll ever get to a place where they can find joy in themselves. Like this guy. He found joy, didn't he? And what's funny is we have to be like the Who's down in Ooville. Because Charlie was our Christmas and somebody stole him from us. But you know what? It's about the message that he shared. It's about the joy that he brought to us. It's about the knowledge that he expressed and let people learn and bringing young people together. There was a clip that I wanted to share on that as well. Let me find that young man before I cut out. But, well, let this young man tell you.
You know, there's no other conservative who cares that much about children, about students, as much as he did. Because to be honest, for many, many decades, students were considered progressives, as I said before. So they were kind of a voting class that was not really needing to be represented because there would be no students that would be voting for red candidates.
Can anybody relate to that? There's nobody in a certain group that's on your side, it feels like. And maybe if you talk to them, you can win them over. They can feel your passion and your compassion and see, hey, you're actually a good person. Saw a bunch of clips with Charlie talking to black people, talking to Asian people. It doesn't matter. They get him. They understood where he was coming from, and they could see the truth of his heart. I'll let him talk some more.
Charlie changed that, and with that impact, it's going to last decades.
Let's take a minute to listen to Charlie in his own words over the course of his very influential political career, encouraging young people just like you. Listen to this here.
Our generation and our belief system will be paving the way for millennials for decades to come.
As soon as you make the decision that I am going to boldly speak my mind courageously, whether I'm with friends or family, or as I am in private and public, that is the most freeing thing we can give our students. Or family, or as I am in private and public, that is the most freeing thing we can give our students. I go around universities and have...
Look at this lady right here. Look at this lady. Look at the joy in her face. They're just like, just in seeing his spirit.
Public, that is the most freeing thing we can give our students. I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
As a young man pursuing a marriage, I just want to ask if you had any advice on how I can pursue and maintain a God-centered marriage.
God must always come first from your spiritual disciplines. Honor the Sabbaths and turn off your phone for 1 day a week.
There is a not-so-silent majority now on college campuses of students that identify with a more conservative, libertarian viewpoint. We are packing up these lecture halls. Our chapters are growing at a record rate. How I got my political start, one of my first things of activism is when they doubled the price of cookies at Wheeling High School. I said, this is unconscionable, this is unwarranted, and we need a rebellion. Conservatives are dominating in new media. We're dominating in podcasting. We're dominating on TikTok. We're dominating on social media, because we are a movement that believes in freedom of speech and that is able to have different ideas but build coalitional type politics.
Another great warrior right here, right, Ivanka? You are a great warrior. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
He did a lot to help President Trump get elected. He absolutely did. I thought scary time when they took shots at President Trump. I thought after he survived not one but two attempts on his life and then did get elected, I thought, okay, whew, you know, we can relax a little bit. We're past the crazy hatred phase, and we're into September. It's like we're by March, I was feeling like we don't have to worry about the crazy shooters anymore. People are seeing, oh, eggs are $2.99 again instead of $7.99. Gas is $2.79, $2.89 instead of $6, $5.50 in Georgia. Like everything was coming down, getting more affordable. People were more relaxed. I could see it everywhere I went. I could see people were just calmer. People were nicer. People were going out more. Movie theater was more full. I remember going there one time going, oh, there's like a little extra people here. And people were like cutting line. There's like 2 or 3 cash registers and there was no rope off. And I was like, they're so used to it being so empty, they just never had one. And the next time I went back to the theater, they had little zigzag rope. So people would all go through one line. If whatever cash opens, you don't get skipped over because somebody else just happened to walk in and go to that new cashier. Just little things like that where it just was like community was becoming community again. And I liked that. And I thought we were beyond that, and apparently we weren't. As this shooter let us know. So here we sit a few days later. There's one more clip I wanted to share with you. I had saved earlier, and I don't know where it is, but I'm going to go pull it up real quick. It was Charlie Kirk. I mean, people like, he can take a joke too, because they made fun of him and Trump, but J.D. Vance was like miniature. He was like a little short person on their South Park. His reaction to his South Park, his induction to South Park was so awesome. I think this is it.
Okay, everybody, the South Park episode just dropped, and honestly, it is hilarious. I mean, part of it is kind of like whatever, typical humor, but it was hilarious. Just watch this little snippet of our Prove Me Wrongs, our viral cultural domination on prime time on Comedy Central. So important, so impactful that South Park is highlighting. Watch it.
I'm sick of people stealing my stick.
Clearly that's
if
his
anyone
haircut.
around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
You around. Leviticus 3:17 says it.
Ironically, they put the character who's got the worst haircut in this show saying that to him.
Shall be a perpetual statute for your generation throughout all your dwellings. So you can shut up, baby. You just hate America and you love abortions.
Not only that, but Jeremiah 1:5, I made you in the womb. South Park gets this right. In fact, I think they've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. Watch.
Oh my God, what makes you think you have the right to say what I do with my body?
Let me ask you something. If a pregnant woman is killed and the baby dies too, why is the killer charged with a double homicide?
Why?
Because people have different beliefs.
It's not about belief, it's about truth. Science
truth,
confirms
right?
life begins at conception. So yes, Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. But it's just morality that demands we protect the most vulnerable.
And we got our own award show as part of South Park. I was told going in, Charlie, if they say your name, that's a big win. Well, apparently there's the Charlie Kirk Awards.
Hello and welcome to the 3rd annual Charlie Kirk Award for Young Master Debaters.
Obviously, you know
More
the
and
joke
more
there.
young people today
Master
are learning
debaters.
to fight for America through master debation. We're here to honor the recent efforts of a brave young man
Mom rolling her eyes.
who has been furiously master debating for the past several days.
Now, there's going to be a lot said about this, but we need to have a good spirit about being
right.
made fun of. This is all a success. This is all a win. We as conservatives, we have thick skin, not thin skin. And you can make fun of us. It doesn't matter. And until next time, I hope all of you also become master debaters for truth.
It's a joke. He gets the joke. It's not sensitive. It's not like, oh, poor me, I'm being mocked. No, it's funny. It's very funny. And he knows it's very funny. And J.D. Vance's comment, just the tweet. Let me see if I can find that one. Dude. Oh my gosh. South Park. It was just a tweet he put up. Oh my gosh.
Hey everyone, I watched South Park last night, and thankfully, unlike liberals, I have a sense of humor. I know that when people portray me as a spineless sycophant implementing fascist policies to serve a...
That's somebody's AI. That's cheeseball. We're not going to look at that. It's just somebody trying to think they're funny. Comedy's hard, people. Walk away. Walk away from the microphone. You're not funny. It's okay, though. Basically, let me see if it's here. It's just another one that was like, it shows you what their sensibilities are. I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of Charlie stuff here, so I'm gonna try to skip past it real quick, because I don't want to get bogged down in the weeds and find another thing that makes me want to stop and be upset. That's Anna Polina. That's back September 6th. I don't remember when the date was that the thing was aired, so that makes it tough. But I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm going to find it because it's just a quick little photo. I love that he's our vice president. And that's the thing. He's been thrown under the bus as well. This is a man that just a few years ago was the darling of Hollywood. They made Hillbilly Elegy about his life, his book about his life. And now it's like, oh, even Ron Howard's like, oh, I didn't know that he was like that. Didn't know that he was like what? Pro-American? Like, dude, what do you think Andy Griffith would say to Ron Howard back then if this stuff like this was trying to be pushed on America right now? He would be the same way. Here it is. They go, this is Welcome to Mar-a-Lago, South Park. There's Trump. There's J.D. Vance is like, I don't know why he's so short. But it's like, and his cheeks look all inflated. Well, I finally made it. They think these are big burns and big wins, and it's like, no, you're just showing them that you're giving them a chance to show who they are, that they're human, you know. And above all else, Charlie Kirk was a human being. He was a person. He was a father and a husband. He didn't deserve what happened at all. Not even a little bit. And the outpouring and outcry from people all around America and the world showed you the guys doing the haka in New Zealand. There's people overseas in other countries doing the same kind of stuff, same kind of protests and frustration. Vigils, not even protests, vigils. I saw a clip earlier where it was a vigil, and they showed on the top graph it was response to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Or they were fair. They said Charlie Kirk's death and then response to George Floyd death. And the George Floyd thing was all riots and burning stuff and people looting stores. And the Charlie Kirk thing was city after city, state after state, country after country, people in vigils, singing Amazing Grace, praying, holding hands, looking for guidance. That's the difference. One movement celebrated a criminal, drug user, person who was going down a very dark rabbit hole, circling the drain of life, and the other one celebrates a man whose life was given to everyone else and then taken from everyone. So you decide what means more to you, what's more important. I know there's a lot of people that are getting fired now because they celebrated this man's death. Hundreds of people now have been fired because their businesses, a lot of them were teachers. I saw at least 7 or 8 teachers at last count. And I mean, somebody impugned 2 wrongs don't make a right. I'm sorry, if it was my business and I found out you're celebrating someone's death, if there's a politician I don't like and you took them out, I'm not celebrating that. That's not okay. That goes against company policy of not being a soulless devil. So I would let you go as well. I wish you luck. Take care. If you want a reference, it's going to come with that last line of, oh, but I fired for cause due to celebrating the assassination of a Christian man. Do with that what you will. Maybe you'll go to a company that will love that about you. But I wouldn't keep you on staff because I couldn't respect you. I can't hire and pay somebody to do work for my company that I don't respect. Got to come together, people. Got to show each other a little more love, a little more kindness, a little more compassion across the board. There's a lot of infuriated conservative people in the country right now that aren't looking for compassion or standing together. And I get it. I get it. I'm also trying to think, what would, Charlie do? Go back a little further. What would Martin Luther King say? John F. Kennedy, what would Jesus Christ say? We all know. Just read the Bible. He'll tell you what he would say. It's in there. And the last thing I'll give you guys, if you don't read, if you haven't read the Bible, or if you're in the midst of reading the Bible, Gary agrees. Appreciate you, sir, for sticking with me this long. It's been an hour. I guarantee we'll talk some football. I might come on tomorrow and talk some Chiefs. I had all this stuff. Look, I promise you, I had all this stuff written up. I had this all written up on Tuesday. Okay? And there's more over here. And I was only halfway through the Charger game. I was going to watch the other half again and finish it up. And I might do that tomorrow. But this happened. So this took precedent and priority. If you didn't see it earlier, Gary, go back and watch the beginning of the show because Charlie gets to talk about his Bears. I would have loved to have met the man and had him as a guest on the show and got to know him. And that's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever. Well, maybe if I'm lucky and blessed, maybe later. But hopefully not for some time because I have a little girl and family that loves me and my son. So, I don't know where I was going. Oh, I was going to do the show thing. The Charlie Kirk subject. You're welcome, for sure, man. What was the last thing I was going to leave you with? My gosh. Could it be that not that important, maybe? I'm sure it's all important. Let me see if I can think about it while we're just talking. Like I said, I might do something tomorrow for Chiefs Chat, do a pre-show for the game against the Eagles. The short of it is it's still the Chiefs. Like, I don't know what people are thinking. I don't think we're going to fall apart because we had a bad opening game. I will say, just to keep it light, keep it simple, keep it vague as far as, without getting into the weeds of the game and going for another hour. Let me know what you think, Gary, since you're the Chief fan that's talking the most in the chat. I was just frustrated. As I'm only halfway through the game, and I know I'm like I think Pacheco's got one carry left, maybe two. I think I just started the third quarter, and he's got like one carry left, I think. They only give him the ball 5 times. I'm like, come on, guys. Let's pull that up. Let's at least give you, just in case I don't go again tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and pull the chart up just so we can talk some numbers. See, you stayed around, it was worth it. There you go. You're going to get some Chiefs Chat. Let's open up the debacle that was Friday night. Again, super nonplussed with the fact that it was in Brazil. That's just missed me with all that. There was no need of that. Patrick was a machine, as always. But we say this on the show all the time. Okay, I've been charting this stuff since I lived in LA, since the 2017, 2018, like since Alex days, actually. When we run, you're worried about receivers this week. I understand that. You should be. There's a concern there for sure. It's not like the Eagles have 3 or 4 top flight corners, though. So Patrick can make hay. And we got a couple of good tight ends if we can get them rolling. If Noah Gray could not drop a 2-point conversion in the end zone. But I digress. My big points. Quentin Johnston seemed to catch everything. He didn't catch everything, but he caught almost everything, and he played great. But there was some weird block in the backs that weren't called, and a whole lot of holding against us, of course. So I've got this game charted partway to refer back to when people start talking about us getting the calls. I can make sure and let them know, no, they didn't. And I've got the time marks on the game, so I can go right to the spots and share that if people need to go down that rabbit hole. But when we run the ball 20 plus times, we win 98% of the games we play. It's a fact. It's not a guesstimation. It's not I think, it feels like, I wonder, my opinion. No. It's a fact. It's a statistical reality. And when we don't run the ball at least 20 times, we lose 98% of those games. We lose them. Not even close. It happens every time. Almost every time. 98% of the time, it happens every time. Sex Panther. We passed the ball 39 times, and we ran the ball 17 times. It was never a blowout. There's no reason for that. Somebody's got to be on the sideline next to Matt Nagy and Andy Reid going, don't forget we have running backs. Just because pundits who hate the Chiefs say that Pacheco and Hunt can't carry the load doesn't mean they can't carry the load. That's their opinion. Those people are idiots. Isaiah Pacheco had 25 yards on 5 carries. Like third down carries, long yardage. Next play, first down. Hunt gets a pass and goes for a first down. Next play, Pacheco gets 7 yards. There was 3 or 4 times watching the game. We go, okay, that was great. Now give the ball to Pacheco. And they're like, no, they try to do a pass. Hollywood Brown drops the ball or nearly gets picked off. Like we have running backs. Stop forgetting that we have running backs. 5 carries is a joke. They got 5 carries each. Between them, they didn't get 15 carries. They had 10. And Patrick had 6. I love that Patrick was running and moving around and doing stuff. That's great. I love that he had time because Josh Simmons is the real deal. And other people were like complaining. Let me know what you think, Yuri. Other people were complaining about the fact that I think it was Gronk was talking about us getting each other's grills, or like you hit these guys and they lose control, they get upset. Travis like basically face to helmeted Jawan Taylor after his multiple false starts. And at the end of the game, we all saw it. Chris Jones, who we love, indomitable force in the middle at times, sometimes takes plays off, and it frustrates me. Or just gives up in the middle of a play when it's not over yet. And you could maybe, perhaps, perchance, maybe make something happen, but not if you stop trying. Then you have no chance to make something happen. But at the end of the game, he had contained on the left end of the defense. And he decided to play hero ball. That's what we called it in semi-pro anyway. He tried to play hero ball. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fake outside and cut inside and try to cut through the gap and have a quick, short path to the quarterback. Problem is there's no contain outside of you for you to the end zone. And Justin Herbert, like Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson, like insert quarterback who's really mobile that you don't mess around with, like Jalen Hurts, you can't do that with him because if you miss him, he's out the gate and he's going to get a chunk of yards. It's 3rd and 14, and we looked like it was the 2017 Chiefs that can't get off the field on 3rd down. And I was very frustrated. And Drew Tranquil gave it to Chris after that happened. He let him know it. And I was like, that's not them breaking down. That's leaders having accountability with leaders. That's a teammate going up going, guy, you can't do this. All this hard work. We were one stop away from Patrick Mahomes getting the ball back with 2 minutes to go, down by 6. I don't know too many people who want to be in that position because he's the only quarterback that's got a winning record doing that in a long time. And it's by a lot. The next place is way lower than him. So I call it accountability. Gronk calls it breaking down. I call it accountability in the moment. Get your shit together. Don't let this happen again. People are saying the wheels are coming off. Oh, what happened? I say it's week 1 because I saw a lot of teams crap the bed. I'm looking at you, Miami Dolphins, and the Bengals. I had so I lose Xavier Worthy in my fantasy pool. No points for that receiver. And in my other fantasy team, Jamar Chase does bupkis. The Bengals won because they played the Browns, and the Browns found a way to lose. But Jamar Chase did nothing. So miss me with the don't draft a quarterback before a position player because quarterbacks don't generally have a nothing burger game like that. That's very rare, especially if their name is Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, although Joe Burrow did have a poop game that day. But Patrick generally does not. So I didn't take him first. I took him like 3rd or 4th round. Still much earlier than most people say. I got a C and a C- in the 2 leagues in my draft grade, which means I'll probably be in the championship in both leagues. That's usually what happens. But not after week 1. If the championship was now, I would be out entirely. Anyway, I digress. Receiving, Hollywood Brown had 99 yards on 10 catches. He had at least 3 or 4 drops. Juju Smith-Schuster was awesome, slippery, veteran, savvy. I loved it. Kelsey was 2 for 47 and a touchdown, but he also had a drop on a crossing route inside the red zone. And I was just like, bro, just what? Come on, man. Every game there's one somewhere where it's just like a concentration drop. And it drives me crazy. It's not every game. It's important moments, though, when it does happen. Tyquan Thornton, I still don't understand why he can't keep his feet He's always got to go to the ground when he makes a big catch. Hopefully he'll get that figured out. And the running backs got 2 more touches each out of the backfield. No grade, 1 catch for 3 yards and a drop for a 2-point conversion. And then the guys didn't do much. Tamari Connor, Nick Bolton leading the team with tackles, Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson was the one who got pushed in the back by Ladd McConkey, who I also had as one of my fantasy wideouts. Thankfully, he didn't do as good as I'd hoped he would do, because I hoped he wouldn't do good because he was playing against us. We contained him pretty well. Although we made Allen look like a friggin' 25-year-old instead of a 50-year-old, which he looks like in real life. He was awesome. He killed us. Trey McDuffie, Jaden Hicks. I like our team. We have so many good players. Where's Chris Jones? 2 assisted tackles. That's his stat number. And we doinked an upright for a single, which was frustrating. But things happen. That's life. What are you going to do? Matt Areza was killing it. Crushing that ball. Nico Remigio, love him. He looks totally solid. Believe in that kid. Yeah, so there we have it. The other thing I didn't like was I don't like 24 on Brashard Smith because gives me Sky TSD. Okay, I have Sky traumatic stress disorder. I don't want to see 24 flying around on the offense. It's like, I feel like it's a jinxed number now, or maybe it was always, and maybe Sky should just switch numbers and it would have helped them out. But we'll see what happens there. Ashton Jalot made some plays. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good out there. His movement's really nice. Feel pretty good about most of our guys. I think we'll get it together this week. I think it'll be a much better, more complete-looking matchup. Will we win or lose? I don't know. It's a tough game. It's a tough team we're playing against. They got the spitter still in the game. The guy that face-palmed Travis Kelce didn't get tossed somehow. I don't know how that works. Oh, I know, because he's not a Kansas City Chief. Imagine Chris Jones doing that to one of their receivers. Do you think he'd still be in the game? I don't think so. I think he'd be tossed. And apparently they count being tossed out of the game as a suspension for Philadelphia. So we will have all their guys playing us that are healthy. It is what it is. You play the guy in front of you. You play the guys on your team that you have, and you play across the guys in front of you. That's it. That's the way this team works. Like Andy says, we'll meet you anywhere. Mickey D's parking lot, bring it on. We ain't scared. We don't do scared. We're champs. And Gronk, you should know this. Don't be a douche and say douchey things about the dynasty that's going to surpass you, because that's what's going to happen. We're en route to doing that, and I believe it's going to happen in the next 5 years. And that's it. Sorry, bud. Bad luck. Anyway, it's been a long show. Gary thinks I'm right about something. I'll take it. I don't care what it was about, but I'll take it. Appreciate you. Let's go back to the Chiefs Chat channel and say goodbye. Not that it matters. It's good talking to you guys. Rest in peace, Charlie. I'm getting a little stronger with it every day. It's still surreal. It's not right. It's never going to feel right. It's never going to be good, but he dropped the mic, and we got to pick it up. We got to go. We got to go with it. Actually, he didn't drop the mic. He clenched like this, and he held on to it. And I thought it was interesting. What I thought was interesting watching the video the second time, as awful as it was to see, when he went back like this. And I was like, they say when you die, you're reborn into the kingdom of heaven. If you're a Christian and you're a believer. And it's so interesting because it was like he went back to the shape. If I was good with like AI and Photoshop and stuff, I would make a beautiful video where I would change out the blood with like white light. If somebody out there could do that stuff, do it. It'd be great. White light of his soul coming out, because God said, they say in the Bible, when you make sacrifices, don't eat the blood. The blood is the life, and that's for God. That goes back to God. And when the blood came out and the energy, regardless of that, his hands, the way his hands went up like this, it was like, you could think of it like he was trying to fight, like put up his fist, but it almost looked like he was like a babe in their mother's arms or father's arms, going back and being cradled. And like God was like, no, I got you. I got you. You're done here. This is not survivable, but I have you. And try to look for positive signs where I can. That's the only way I think to live. I don't think living negative is good for anyone. It's unhealthy mentally and psychologically and emotionally. Things like this happen. It's impossible to not be affected if you're a human being and have a soul. But he did a lot. He did enough. He did his share. He bore his cross and he left us with a mission. So let's get her done, as they say in Georgia. Let's get her done. Charlie, we got you, buddy. We are Charlie Kirk. We got this, buddy. We're going to take care of it and keep moving that rock up the hill. We may be on a fallen earth, but we got the grace of God behind us. We got Jesus Christ on our back. Let's get it. As always. I'll add one caveat. Thank you, Charlie Kirk. And go Chiefs.
Shot down and he was barely 31. Another woke coward took a life with a gun. He left behind a wife and a daughter and a son. All he did was try to speak for all of us. And I'm so tired of the hatred and the narratives. The patriots ain't dangerous, woke people are the terrorists. They shot and killed the father, sent a message to Americans. They ain't gonna stop until they bury us. Dear Charlie, I don't know if you can see us now, but if heaven has a window, I sure hope you're looking down. Cause we ain't going quiet, we gon' scream your name loud. And you're gone, but I swear to God that we gon' make you proud. We ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us when good men die for the things that they say. And I can't just be quiet, so I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day. Killed in cold blood for having a discussion, and liberals are celebrating murder like it's justice. You didn't kill a villain or the evil that it comes with. You killed a father and a husband. And I'm so tired of the left and all the wokery. We can't get along if you just kill us when we don't agree. Sniper rifle fire from a liberal that no one sees. Scared I might be next to die when I'm just buying groceries. Charlie, we'll make sure your children know that defending all our freedom is why you aren't coming home. I hope heaven has a window you can watch your children grow and hear your message echo from below. And we ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us when good men die for the things that they say. And I can't just be quiet, so I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day.
Now on that note, from Tom McDonald. We'll say a proper goodbye. Speak up, let your voice be heard. For Charlie, go Bears. For the rest of us, go Chiefs.